Hey guys, Justin here. Today we're talking about controllers. One controller in particular, the world's smallest controller, the 8Bitdo Micro. I've been playing video games since the early 90s. My first controller ever was an NES. I know some of you guys have been playing a lot longer than that. Anyway, over the years I've used dozens of controllers and a few of them really stick out, like the Nintendo 64 or the original Xbox, the Duke. It actually hurt my hands to hold that one. My hands were a little smaller back then. But today we're really in the golden age of controllers, aren't we? Personally, I think Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, they are making their best controllers right now. And in the third-party space, we've come so far from the Mad Catz days. In fact, third-party controllers have gotten so good, they can almost replace the first-party ones. Now, this isn't a sponsored video or anything. I just really like 8Bitdo. Paid for this controller myself and just wanted to come in and talk about it. It's a pretty new product for them, and if you're looking for something small and portable, this might just be for you. The Micro is my newest 8Bitdo controller, and it really is the perfect Bluetooth controller for playing games on the go. It's compatible with the Nintendo Switch and Android, and there's a keyboard mode too, so you can map your keys to the buttons and play on your laptop. You can also connect it with a USB-C cable through this port at the top here if you want a wired connection. The controller has 16 buttons, 4 shoulder buttons, a D-pad, start, select, X, Y, A, B, home, and the star button that 8Bitdo puts on all of their controllers. When you compare the 8Bitdo Micro to some of the other controllers in my collection, you can really get a sense for how much they packed into this little package. So here's what it looks like compared to my Pro 2 and my Ultimate. If you're not as familiar with those, here it is compared with my Xbox controller. Now, 8Bitdo isn't the first company to make these tiny controllers, and on some small devices like this, the D-pad can feel a little stiff to me. Like, you really have to push down to trigger the input. This one, not so much though. The D-pad feels pretty nice. Not too hard to push down, and moving diagonally feels natural. The face buttons have a nice clicky click to them. Here, can you hear that? That's a good click. Now, with a small controller, you have every right to be worried about the physical size of the buttons. I have, average size hands, and they feel really nice to me. If you're looking for a comparison, they're about the same size as the Game Boy Color's face buttons. Pretty close. But the shoulder buttons are a totally different story. The outside buttons are the L and R buttons. They're large, but they're really thin. Unless you're pressing them really close to the inside edge, they're kind of hard to push down. Right beside those are the L2 and R2 buttons, and these aren't great at all. They're so tiny, and even though they're right beside the L and R buttons, I feel like I have to change my grip just to hit them. It's just not comfortable and it feels awkward. But then again, how many 2D games take advantage of the L2 and R2 buttons regularly? In your hand, it kind of feels like a single Joy-Con, but it's even lighter and smaller than that. At only 24.8 grams, it's actually lighter than your average light bulb. With a controller like this, you're gonna want it to be light, right? It's something you're carrying around in your pocket or you have attached to a bag, but it's almost too light and the plastic just feels kind of cheap. That's not a huge complaint. After all, you're paying like 25 bucks for this thing, but thought I'd mention it. The big question I had about this controller is, can you actually use it, or is it just more of a novelty thing? The answer very clearly is, it is more of a novelty thing. You get the sense that 8Bitdo just wanted to see how small they could go. How small could they make a usable controller? And I think this is it. I can't imagine anything smaller than this. But it's cool. It's totally flat, so if it's in your pocket, you don't even notice it. And honestly, it's just fun to have around. It's fun to look at. I leave mine on my desk most of the time, and just the look of it makes me want to play games. For a quick on-the-go session where I don't want to hold my Switch in my hand, put it in tabletop mode, connect this, and it's a really fun experience. Now I have to mention, this is actually my second 8Bitdo microcontroller. I had to send my first one back because it wouldn't charge, wouldn't power on, it was just dead to the world. I emailed 8Bitdo, they responded really quickly, so they know there was an issue with at least one defective unit, so just keep that in mind. If you pick one of these up, you get it home, and you're trying to charge it and the light at the top here doesn't light up no matter what you do, send it back for a refund. Now, like I mentioned, the Micro is gonna cost you 25 bucks, and that's not all that much money, but just consider, is it worth it to you? How are you gonna use this thing? If you're looking for just an easy, portable Bluetooth controller to throw in your bag on the go, I think for 25 bucks, it's a solid buy. But if you're looking for a real controller, something you'll use at home, something you can use on the go, something that will, be comfortable for an extended play session, I'd skip this one. 8Bitdo has so many controllers, and some of them aren't that much more expensive than this. For example, I think it's worth saving up and going with the awesome 8Bitdo SN30 Pro. That's only 45 bucks. Yeah, it's not as little, it's not as cute, but it's much more comfortable, and I think you'll end up using it a lot more. So what do you think? Do you like 8Bitdo's controllers? Have you picked up the Micro yet? Maybe you use some other sort of third-party controller. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing.
Oh, yeah.